Hello, my name is Teneisha and I am here in the Plaid Content Studio to talk to you about Drizzle. So Drizzle is our pouring paint. It's an all-in-one pre-mixed pouring paint. And if you've been online in the past 2 years, you have seen pouring. So when we say pouring, we mean things like, whoops, a little stuck here. Sorry about that. Let me grab a different one. Something like this. So, you're pouring a liquid paint onto a surface and getting these really cool designs and moving it around until you find something that you're happy with. So today we're going to mix it up a little bit and we're going to do three-dimensional pours. And what I mean by that is I'm going to grab one here. I mean something like this. So this is a upcycled rhino that we must have picked up at, a thrift store somewhere, painted orange, and I am going to pour over this. And so I'm going to do a rainbow on this guy, and I've got two other projects to show you as well, but all of these are going to be three-dimensional pours. So what we don't do much on our lives that have to do with Drizzle is pouring directly from the bottle, and I am going to do that today. So I'm going to show you how you can do this without any tools whatsoever. Excuse me. So what I failed to mention is our Drizzle paint you can get exclusively at Michael's. So go over to Michael's in person or online and you can find all of our Drizzle paints. Our Drizzle paints come in our normal colors. They also come in metallics and in glitters and then in a flash iridescent type. So I'm going to start doing this and we're just going to open the bottle up. And this is the only tool that I am going to use. So Dylan, if you want to switch over to the overhead, we are just going to start pouring on this guy.
If you guys have any questions, I'm looking at the comments here, so relay those and I'll ask Teneisha.
Yeah. And I don't know, Dylan. You'll have to tell me which looks better, either the front camera or the overhead.
I think we'll kind of switch back and forth.
Yeah. And so basically I'm just pouring enough paint on this guy to have it drip off. And I'm going to take all my different colors and pour lines right next to each other. And this of course does not have to be perfect. This is not an A-type personality project. This is a nice get your hands messy type. Experimental, real fun. And the fun thing about doing it on 3 dimensions here is you have almost even less control than you do on a canvas, which to me is fun. Especially on this guy, he's kind of geometric in places, so you don't really know where the paint's going to fall. And these kind of, I guess you would call it a bust. These kind of like ceramic animals or human structures. You really can find a lot of these at thrift stores. And you can kind of just play around. This would be a really fun project for a kid's room. Really nice. Something fun to put on their bookshelf. What's that called? A book stopper?
Yeah, bookend.
Bookend, yeah, that's it.
And if you guys are just joining us, we are talking all about FolkArt Drizzle, which is a complete fluid art painting program exclusive to Michael's. So we've got the links in the description if you guys want to go check out the colors. We have a bunch of different colors and formulas and a lot of tools. But today we're just showing you the paint right out of the bottle onto one of these ceramic figures. And we're going to have a few different ones with a few different color palettes, so let us know if you've ever tried paint pouring in general, or if you have plans to make a project like this.
Yeah. And how's that looking from the front there?
That's really cool. Love that.
So you can see, one of the cool things is too, you'll see, oh, you know what, Dylan, we didn't even bring in the one that we did yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the whale?
Yeah, so we did one yesterday where it had a base and it ended up dripping over the base and actually making a really pretty pour on the base. And so what I was going to say is here where I'm pouring, it's pooling down in the bottom and creating sort of these really cool dripping patterns down there. So you could, you know, if you wanted to get kind of funky with it, you could put this on top of a canvas and see what happens to your canvas, which would be really fun. You would get 2 pours in one. So I'm kind of going over with some of these specialties. I've got a little bit of glitter and a little bit of metallic just to add a little bit of pizzazz in there. And the glitter, you might see on the camera that it comes out in a milky base, but it does dry clear. And so it really is like working with liquid glitter, which if you're a fan of glitter, it is definitely worth trying that out. So thank you, Dylan. Dylan just brought me the one I was talking about. So we've got, are we overhead or in front, Dylan?
We're on the front, but we can go overhead.
Okay, so either way, I've got my cute little whale here. You can see that both sides, he's still a little bit wet. You can see both sides ended up being a little bit different. And then the base ended up being its own pour from the drips, which is really cool. It's a little hard to hold, so sorry about that, but hopefully you got a good look at him. Just wipe off my hands so I don't contaminate our warm colors with that blue. And drizzle paint does take a while to dry. You're going to want to give your projects a couple of days before you move them. And then, Dylan, remind me of the final curing time.
Yeah, so it depends on your the humidity in your area, your elevation, but generally we like to say wait about 3 to 4 days to a week until the paint is completely dry. But it is hard to tell because FolkArt Drizzle dries with a really, really beautiful high gloss finish. So you just want to come back to it and check if you have a paint poured canvas or something, you just want to touch the edges and kind of get a feel for if your canvas is dry. But generally I would say in about 5 days your canvas is ready to hang on a wall or your project's ready to display like this.
All right, and I just turned him around so I could make sure we weren't missing any spots in the back.
It looks great on camera.
Good. It's funny, his little rear end looks fantastic. It's really, I'm telling you, it is fun to do this, very different than working with a canvas. And then also, like I said, if you had something below this, you could then use that also as a pour, which is fun. So I think this guy looks good. I think we're going to leave him to drip for a while, and this glitter that looks currently a bit milky will then turn into clear, and you'll really be able to see the shine of that, a little bit of glitter in those stripes.
Love that.
So let's move this guy over. And next, I've got another, upcycled item. I've got a Parrot here. He's a little worse for wear. He looks like someone tried to paint him at some point.
Yeah, we definitely got him at Goodwill. He was kind of ugly painted. So we're gonna spice him up a little bit.
Yeah, so to go with a Parrot theme, I'm gonna do a rainbow, which is always one of my favorite things to do, no matter what I'm doing, parrots or not. I love a good rainbow.
FolkArt Drizzle, there's a great color selection because we have, you know, those very primary colors that Teneisha is about to use for the rainbow, but there's also a lot of accent colors that are maybe colors that you didn't think of using for pouring, and you can blend these colors together and pour with them. So you might think right off the bat that there's a lot of really bright colors in the line, but there's a lot of possibilities with all of these bright colors.
There are, and you know, we've shown on video a few times that you really can do some nice home decor projects in home decor colors. So you don't have to stick to these crazy bright colors. We do have home decor leaning. So let's see, maybe we'll do it a little bit different this time. Why don't we start at the top and kind of do circles? We'll see if we can get it to drip a little bit differently. Give him a red hat. Hope that goes down a little further.
Oh, I like that. That's going to be cool.
And every layer that you put on is sort of pushing the next layer down. So hopefully we'll get a good rainbow type circle. It already looks like more of a parrot than we started with. Do we have any questions or comments yet?
No, I think we just have a few viewers tuning in. So if you guys do have any questions, let us know. This is the first time that we've poured on something like this. So if you have any other ideas, we're always coming up with new live stream and project ideas. So we would love to hear those. That looks really good.
We could, you could see your idea on camera. Hopefully I'm getting that in the front there.
Yeah, that looks great.
I'll tell you what looks amazing is the dripping that's coming on the bottom of the pan here.
That's the great thing you'll notice as Teneisha's doing it. FolkArt Drizzle has been formulated so that the colors stay very separate. You can blend them, of course, but when you do a straight pour like this, where the colors are just poured on individually, they stay really separate. They don't muddy together. If you were to take just acrylic paint out of the bottle and pour it onto something, those colors would melt together and most likely give you some sort of shade of brown. So that is one of the really wonderful things about FolkArt Drizzle.
So one interesting thing that I'm noticing is my cap was touching here, and when it scratched a little bit, you were getting that full rainbow.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which was really fun. Yeah. So I wonder if you could almost make that a technique, kind of experiment with that. Let's turn this guy around. Oh, wow, yeah, the front looks even cooler.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Maybe start a little baby rainbow again. And if you watch me do any videos, you know that I don't really come with a plan. I'm here to experiment and have fun. And I hope that you guys do the same. Creativity doesn't always have to be serious. You can just try things for trying's sake. Woo-wee! That is so cool. I almost hate to put more on it. I almost want to leave some of this blank so I don't mess up these cool rainbows in the back here.
Yeah, that is cool though. Looks great on the overhead.
It would be fun, you know. Do I have any droppers here?
Yes, there should be some. Or at least one.
Shoot, I don't see any. Well, maybe we'll call this guy finished for now. And maybe I'll go back in with a dropper and get some of those little areas that are concaved that we can't pour to and fill those spots in. I mean, this came out really even better than I expected.
That is really cool.
It's very, very cool. It's very cool.
Love that.
Yeah, and he looks different on both sides. That's fun. All right, and we'll move on to our next one. Ooh. Okay, what was my next one? Oh, this little unicorn. Now, again, this one may have been picked up in store somewhere, but this is just a little affordable bust. And unicorns are very hot right now, so you should be able to find something like this anywhere. You could also do this on, plastic dinosaurs or anything. Maybe your kids have stuff that they've kind of grown out of playing with, but you could drizzle on top of them and really.
Yeah, and I think you're going to use some of those.
Some of these colors.
Iridescent colors.
Yeah.
If you want to show off what those look like.
Sure. So our flash iridescent colors change depending on the direction that you're looking at them. So you can see that from here they look very pink, purple. When you go this way, you're looking at far more blue. So it's really, really fun. You know, this makes a huge difference when you're walking by something and it changes color. You really get that interest in there. So we're going to use a couple of those colors. I've got, my purple is called
Optimistic Flash.
Optimistic Flash. And then I've got Cosmo Flash and Mint to Be Flash. And let's see, since this guy has a, well, no, I don't know. What do you think, Dylan? Should we do it on the side? See how that works this time?
Yeah, sure, why not?
And we can kind of see him in action. And let's see, maybe what we'll do is we'll do it different this time. Instead of pouring over, we'll kind of do stripes.
Cool.
So I'll start over here and just kind of go. Maybe I'll try to leave his sparkly horn out of it. I feel like this kind of thing would be really fun for a kid's birthday party. And these paints are totally non-toxic. You can see I'm not even wearing gloves. A lot of times when we do other kind of pours, we do wear gloves just so that we can switch in between projects easily without getting them very messy. But you do not have to. It cleans up really easy with soap and water. And when you're doing it on something like a baking pan, it peels right off when it's dry. You can actually use those paint peels once they're dry on other projects, which is really fun.
Yeah, we end up calling those paint skins. We've seen those used in jewelry, resin art, using them to cut out and place over an existing paint pour. There's a lot of different things you can do with your leftover paint in the pan. That's why we pour on pans, so that we can reuse it, because you might think, you know, man, that's a lot of paint that we're wasting, but we do put that back into our workflow.
Yeah, and so you can see this guy's got a totally different look than what we were doing. Let me move it out
maybe
of
if you pull them up a
the
little bit.
paint here.
Oh, that looks awesome. And when that dries down, that's kind of a similar effect as the glitter. You know, it gets really powerful once it dries down.
Right.
So as soon as that's cured, that's going to be gorgeous.
That's really, really fun. I can 100% see that in my girls' room. They would love this project. So I'm gonna put that to the side. And of course, you know, once that's dry, you could flip it over and do the other side if you want. You know, you could paint it. You could really do anything with it.
Love it.
All right, so thank you everybody so much for joining us to do our paint pouring today. This was really fun. This is the first time I think on video that we've done this three-dimensional type pouring. It's a really fun sort of experimental thing to do. You can get these surfaces really, really cheap, upcycling or just finding stuff in your house. And you don't have to do, you know, we kind of did it a little more childlike in this video. But you could also do this on like vases, on housewares. You could really experiment with this in your house. We've got a gorgeous metallics line that would look really, really beautiful in your house. So, you know, I really hope that you experiment with this. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for joining us. And make sure you go by Michael's and see our Drizzle end cap, and you'll see Dylan's pretty face on there. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.